Hi students, myself Poornima. I'm your biology educator. In this class, we are going to study the unit that is evolution. So what is evolution? Evolution is the gradual changes. That is the general definition. It is a gradual changes. Either it may be in the environment or it may be in the living organism, but it is a gradual, not a sudden changes, but it is a slow changes that we can observe from year to year or from decade to decade. In order to observe this evolution at the beginning, we must know what is ecosystem. So ecosystem is the one that is the interaction of the living organism between the living and the non-living components. In other definition, the surrounding in which man lives and works is called as the ecosystem. So in this ecosystem, there are different types. That is the at the beginning, that is terrestrial ecosystem, right? The terrestrial ecosystem. Second one, aquatic ecosystem. And the third one is the man-made ecosystem. Let us study the first terrestrial ecosystem. The land ecosystem is generally referred as terrestrial ecosystem. Example, that is desert, right? Desert ecosystem, or else forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem. Next is the aquatic ecosystem. The water ecosystem can be referred as aquatic ecosystem. That is example pond, lake, wetland, river and estuary. Man-made ecosystem. See, these two ecosystems are the one that is belonging to natural ecosystems, and this is artificial ecosystem. In the artificial ecosystem, there is man-made ecosystem. That is the ecosystem that is created and developed by the human being itself. That may be agricultural land or the aquarium. So, next is about the structure and function of the ecosystem. See, in entire biosphere is regarded as global ecosystem. In an ecosystem, the biotic and abiotic components, they interact and function as a one unit. See, if there is a particular terrestrial ecosystem, when I am calling it as a terrestrial ecosystem, I am getting to know that there is an interaction, or there is a living of the, or there is a presence of the both living as well as non-living components, right? When they together, they are in union, or they are together, they in communication, then only I can refer it as the terrestrial ecosystem. Like that only, any ecosystem, it may be the terrestrial or it may be the aquatic ecosystem, the biotic and abiotic components, it interact and function as a one single unit. Vertical distribution of different species occupying the different levels is called as the stratification. So here you can observe this. See, there are some plants that is taking the ground level, and some of the plants that are taking the shrub layer. Means its occupying position is slightly above. Then there are some particular tree layer. Here you can see there is understory layer, and there are some of the other higher plants that forms the canopy. So what is this canopy? It is the merging of the branches of other tree. See, if I consider it as a one tree and this is one more, the branches is going to merge and form a shady places for the below region. That is what called as the canopy. And there will, in the forest, you can observe there will be some of the trees that is that they are very long or very in height in the nature. Those are called as emergent layer. So it is one forest that the plants or the trees are occupying the different kind of the stratification or different kind of the layers, and these layers in the any particular ecosystem can be called as the stratification. So what is the example for stratification? It is the forest. You can give the example as the forest. Next most important topic is the pond ecosystem. The pond is a shallow, simple, self-sustainable water body that exhibits all basic component of an ecosystem. See, in this concept you will get sometime the question as what are abiotic factors of the or abiotic components of the pond ecosystem, or what are the biotic components of the pond ecosystem. So let me say, or let me teach you first about the abiotic components. Water, soil, all those are the abiotic components. Then the solar input, that is nothing but the sunlight, temperature, day length, all these are belonging to the abiotic components of the pond ecosystem. Whereas the biotic components, it may be the phytoplankton. What are phytoplankton? Those are the tiny living organism in the pond ecosystem. Next, there will be some of the algae will be there, some of the floating and the submerged or the marginal plant. What will be the floating? Floating plants means they are just float upon the pond. They will never get merged under the water. Then there are another type, that is a submerged. Submerged means they are completely, they are under the water itself. And there are some plants, you see, if the plant is here, then you will call it as marginal plants. Then the other abiotic components will be the zooplankton, freely swimming and bottom dwellers, and some of the decomposers will be present. Do you know what is decomposer? Decomposers are the one which lay or which feed upon the dead and decaying of the living plant and animals. Those are called as decomposers. That is the example fungi, bacteria and the flagellates. Pond performs all the functions of an ecosystem. Example, autotrophs convert inorganic into organic material using the solar radiant, that is nothing but the sunlight energy, that is using the sunlight to convert inorganic into organic materials. Heterotrophs consumes autotrophs. See, the word heterotrophs, it indicates that the living organism cannot prepare their own food. Such type of organisms are called as heterotrophs, and the autotrophs means the organism which can prepare the food. Can you give example for these two? Yes. Autotrophs example will be the plants and heterotroph example will be the living organisms, that is the animals, fishes, birds, whatever it may be, the example for the heterotrophs. Usually the ecosystem consists of four different components, that are productivity, decomposition, energy flow and the nutrient cycle. So let us study about the productivity. Productivity means amount of biomass produced per unit area over a time period by the plants during photosynthesis. So amount of biomass. See, if I consider there is a group of 50 plants, those are undergoing, naturally they will undergo the photosynthesis process, right? And they are going to produce the a source of energy, or they are going to produce the food. That is what called as the productivity. Like how we will say how much amount of the food that is prepared by the 50 plants, that we will call it as the productivity. So it is expressed as gram per square or energy. The rate of biomass production is called as productivity, and it is expressed as kilocalorie meter square per year. It is divided into gross primary productivity, that you can refer it as GPP, and net primary productivity, that is NPP. Gross primary productivity, it is the rate of production of organic matter during photosynthesis. Please remember this. Gross primary productivity is only formed during the photosynthesis. A considerable amount of gross primary productivity is used by the plants for respiration purpose. See, always the gross primary productivity is formed during photosynthesis, yes, but among that also, among the product that is formed during photosynthesis also, it will be, some percent will be used by the plants for the sake of respiration. Next, net primary productivity. Net primary productivity, it is the available biomass for the consumption to heterotrophs. See, as I have said, the 50 plants were there, right? There were 50 plants that were present. all those were undergoing the process of the photosynthesis, right? And when they undergo photosynthesis, they were producing a large amount of the energy, or the large amount of the food material was produced, among which some amount of the source of energy will be used for the respiration. And this particular, the product that are formed, it is called as GPP, okay, that is gross primary productivity. And also the net available biomass for the consumption of the heterotrophs, how much amount of the biomass that is available for the heterotrophs to be consumed, that is called as net primary productivity. There is one formula for this, that is net primary productivity equal to gross primary productivity minus respiration. Secondary productivity, it is the rate of formation of new organic matter by consumers. Primary productivity varies in different ecosystem. See, always the primary productivity will not same for all the ecosystem. It will changes from one ecosystem to other ecosystem, because it depends upon the plant species inhabiting an area, environmental factors, availability of the nutrients, photosynthetic capacity of the plants. So, in the next class, we are going to study about the next component of the ecosystem.